Hello and welcome to lesson 9b, solving by taking the square root. Now from our last lesson, recall that the square root of x squared is x, or that the square root of 3x plus 7 squared is just 3x plus 7. We can actually use this fact to solve problems with radicals. So for example, if we gave you the problem, the square root of x plus 3 equals 7, to solve you would just square both sides. Square both sides. Now, when you do that, you get that x plus 3 is equal to 49, or x is equal to 46. Now I want to look at something a little bit different. We're going to go backwards a little bit. I want you to start off by solving by factoring m squared equals 81. Well, my first step is to subtract the 81, set that equal to 0. Well, that's a difference of perfect squares. So I get m plus 9 times m minus 9 equals 0. When we set both of those equal to 0, we get that m is plus or minus 9. So if I'm going to solve this by taking the square root, I'm going to have to remember that that can kick out two answers. M could be 9 or m could be negative 9 because 9 squared is 81 and negative 9 squared is 81. So when we take the square root, we have to remember that we can get a plus or a minus. So the notation plus minus 9 is read plus or minus 9, and it's a shorthand notation for 9 as positive and 9 as negative. So if I have a squared equals b, then a is equal to plus or minus the square root of b. So let's take a look at these. Here I have 6x squared minus 30 equals 0. I'm going to start off by isolating the x squared. So I get 6x squared equals 30, or x squared equals 5. I take the square root of both sides, so I get that x is equal to plus or minus 5, and that's my answer. X is, that is a plus and minus, I promise guys. I don't know why my pen flicks up like that. Plus or minus 5. So I want you guys now to try part B. You should have gotten x equals plus or minus 3 root 2. Remember, you need to simplify your radicals if you have the ability to. All right, let's look at the next question. C gives me t minus 5 is equal to 16. Well, to solve this, I take the square root of both sides. So now I get t minus 5 is equal to 4, plus or minus 4. So I have to solve this twice. I have to solve this for t minus 5 equals 4, and for t minus 5 equal to negative 4. So I add 5 to this one to get t is 9. And when I add 5 over here, I get that t is 1. So t could be both of these answers. I want you guys now to do this question here on your own, remembering that to solve for two solutions. All right, let's take a look at this answer, or this question here. We've got n minus 2 squared equals 12. Well, to solve, we take the square root of both sides. And when I take the square root, I get n minus 2 is equal to the square root of 12. Well, the square root of 12, guys, is the square root of 4 times 3, which is really 2 root 3. So I get n minus 2. By the way, there's a plus or minus in front of all of these. Plus or minus. N minus 2 must equal plus or minus 2 square root 3. I'm going to add the 2 over. So I get n equals 2 plus or minus 2 root 3. Notice these are not like terms, so I can't combine them. So this is actually my final answer, just like that. I want you guys now to do F on your own. You should have gotten C equals C equals 6 plus or minus 2 root 6. All right, moving right along. This guy, I'm going to start off to solve this by dividing both sides by 3 to isolate the square root, or the square. 4a minus 5 squared is equal to negative 4. Pause. I cannot square something and produce a positive answer. So this guy is no real solution. Okay, that's one of those we can't do. If squareds do not produce negative numbers. So I want you guys then to take a look at this one and try to figure out what you think it is. All right, now we're going to get onto some really cool stuff. Let's talk about solving by completing the square. So not all trinomials, not all trinomials can be solved by the factoring method. Sometimes we get things that just don't factor because you get fractions or something weird going on or whatever. However, there's a method we can use to rewrite any trinomial so it looks like a perfect square trinomial. So let's review perfect square trinomials real quick. If I have x squared plus 6x plus 9, that's the same thing as, in factored form, x plus 3 squared. X squared minus 12x plus 36 produces that x minus 6 squared, and x squared plus 12 over 7x plus 36 over 49 is x plus 6 over 7 squared. So in general, our perfect square trinomial is of the form x plus 2a times x plus a squared equals x plus a. So when we look at this here, my a value here in this one is 3. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, so there's my 6x. And then we square it, 3 squared is 9. So in my perfect square trinomial, the constant term is always half of the middle coefficient squared. Okay, and this is the key idea to being able to solve something by completing the square. So let's take a look at just getting this concept down. So I want you now to make these phrases into perfect square trinomials. And the way we do that is I always start here. I do x and then a blank. Well, this blank here is always filled with half of this number. Half of this number is minus 10. And then we square this number to put it here. Negative 10 squared is 100. Okay, so same idea again. We do a, I need a blank here. Half of this number is plus 4. Plus 4 squared is 16. Okay, and if you notice, if I were to factor a squared plus 8a plus 16, it's going to factor into a plus 4, or a plus 4 squared. So this even works with ugly numbers. So for example, if we have y squared plus 2/3 y, I can do the exact same thing. I do y, I need a blank here. I do half of this number here in this block. Well, half of 2/3 is just 1/3, right? Because 2/3 divided by 2 is 1/3. Then we square it to fill in this blank here. This would be 1/9. Well, we weren't able, if we received this and I asked you to factor it with the methods we know, you wouldn't be able to do this because our factoring techniques only currently work with whole numbers. However, with completing the square, you're able to now put this in factored form in a way you couldn't before. Okay, let's look at this next one. M squared minus 1/5 m plus blank. Well, we start here. I need a blank here, which is going to be half of this number. Well, half of 1/5 is negative 1/10. Then we square negative 1/10 to get 1/100. Okay, so that's all you have to do. All right, guys, I want you now to go through and fill in these blanks right now. All right, guys, check your answer. So how do we actually use this to help us solve? So to solve, we're going to use this concept of completing the square by first isolating the constant term, that's the term with no x's, right, on one side, and then all my x terms on the other side. Then we're going to do that process we just did of completing the square on the side with the x's. But I have to then balance the equations. So whatever term I add to complete the square, then I'm going to have to add it to the other side as well to keep my equation balanced. I then factor the resulting perfect square trinomial and write it as the square of a binomial, and then I solve by taking the square root. So let's do an example. So my first step is always to get all of the variables on one side and my constant terms on the other. So this is y squared plus 6y equals, added over here, 10. I've left some room because we're going to have our plus blank here, and below it, and we're going to have to add it to the other side as well, plus blank to balance the equation. And then this thing is going to be my quantity squared equals 10 plus whatever blank we come up with, okay? Well, just like we were doing before, y, I want to take half of this guy, plus 3, and then I want to square him up here, 9. Then whatever is written here has to also go over here to balance the equation. So this actually ends up being 10 plus 9, which is 19. So now you have the equation y plus 3 squared equals 19. And at this point, you can solve by taking the square root of both sides. So that's what I'm going to do. So now I have y plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 19. Well, 19 is prime, so nothing can come out of that. So my answer is y equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 19. And that's it. That's my answer. Completing the square can actually save you guys a ton of time. I want you guys now to try this answer on, or this question on your own, and we'll go over it in class together. All right, let's look at this guy. We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to start off by isolating the variable terms and the constant terms. And we're going to have a plus blank here and a plus blank here that are going to match. Then below, we're going to have a squared term equals something, okay? Well, we start off, we do m. I take half of this term, which is minus 3 over 2. Keep it in fractions, guys. It'll make your life easier. Then square it to fill this blank. That becomes positive 9 over 4. And whatever I put here, I have to also put over here to balance my equation. Well, I need to make this into common denominator so I can add. So this becomes negative 12 over 4 plus 9 over 4. So my equation now is m minus 3 over 2 squared equals negative 3/4. I'm now going to take the square root of both sides, and I get m minus 3 over 2 is equal to plus or minus, oh wait, can I take the square root of a negative number? No, I cannot. So we stop here and we recognize that here we have no real solutions, right? Because we can't take the square root of a negative number. But we were on our way, right? So there we go. I want you guys now to take a look at this next one, and we'll go over it in class. Now let's talk about what happens if you have a number in front of your squared term. Well, it's actually pretty simple. You're just going to add a new first step. You're going to divide the leading coefficient, or divide by the leading coefficient, everything. Then you go through the same steps. Isolate the constant term, complete the square, balance the equation, make it a binomial squared, and solve by taking the square root. It's the same process, just you do a new first step. So my first step is divide everything in here by 2. So I get y squared plus 7 over 2y plus 2 equals 0. And now I'm going to start completing the square. So I do y squared plus 7 over 2y, leave a lot of space, equals negative 2. We're going to have a plus blank here and a plus blank here. Yeah, plus blank there, plus blank there. And I am going to now fill this out where I have a y. We take half of this, which becomes 7 over 4. That's my half. I'm going to square it to get 49 over 16. And whatever I add here has to also add over here. 49 over 16. Well, I need to get common denominators in order to add the fractions here. So I have negative 32